All right, Sistas fans, look, another 10 out of 10. Season 7, episode 6, entitled Pretty Hurts. Now, originally, I was going to give this episode about an 8 out of 10. There were a couple little things I was like, I don't know if that's consistent, or maybe something happened off screen that kind of turned the tide. Or okay, because this episode was written by someone from, episode 6. Episode 6 was written by someone that didn't write on episodes 4 or 5. Some of the things didn't exactly line up. But what changed my mind that got me to boost this episode up a couple of points was the final scene after Danny was scrolling online and she saw the picture of Preston and Mindy from their wedding. But then again, this could be that photo that Preston sent before he blocked her and whatnot. So there's that aspect of it. But the voiceover she did, combined with the montage of, Karen at the hospital, Sabrina doing research on freezing her eggs, Fatima and Andy in the office, that just sold it for me personally. Like, I know some people say, Jeremy, I feel you, but I'm going to give the episode like an 8 or a 9. And then, the promo for next week definitely looks like that's going to be a potential 10 out of 10 as well. And, I don't hand out 10s all the time, but I just have to say that this episode was something else. Now, for starters, my Wi-Fi was trash last night. Live stream only could do about 30 minutes. I tried to do another one, but it would not work. I tried it on my phone. I tried it on Firefox, Microsoft Edge. It just wasn't working. So I just opted to quit. And I missed several key points of dialogue from the episode last night. So I had to rewatch certain scenes because of the dang internet, but now I'm good. But I was actually confused because I'm like, wait a minute, what time of day is this birthday thing happening? Is that night? Brunch. It was brunch. I didn't catch that because, again, stupid connection issues. But it looks like this episode takes place around brunch for the birthday. Then everybody who was at work goes back to work. And then the day ends, and then we end the episode around dinner time. So before moving forward, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. And hit the notification bell and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. Also, if you are a fan of the Club Shay Shay podcast, especially after the Cat Williams one, I do know the Monique one dropped yesterday. I've only watched about 45 minutes. The thing is 2 hours and 55 minutes long. I will try to have a video or two up about it on my backup channel. No. My second channel. It's no longer the backup. My second channel, My Kind of Entertainment. There is a link to that channel in the description as well. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. It is less than 330 people away from 10,000 subscribers. So again, I'll try to have my Monique video up either over the weekend or early next week. So let's jump into this episode. The sneak peek, good grief, on Facebook, and I think even Twitter, for like the Oval and Sisters, they just drop like 3 to 5 minute clips. It's like, hey, we're just going to give you the first scene. I'm like, okay, cool. That's less note taking for me because I can just do a quick video before the episode airs and go from there. But this episode, another reason why I feel that it's a 10 out of 10, it did a great job recapturing the essence of season 1. If you go back to before the series aired, when we got the initial trailer for Sisters, when we got the series plot / synopsis, it talked about 4 black women in their 30s navigate through their dating lives with social media, careers, and then the list goes on. And then I love the way Danny kept saying, like, hey, I know you want to post a pic, but, hey, don't do that because, I just told the bosses that, something came up, so I got out of work because it's a legal holiday. Yeah, And, I was on social media and I see somebody. No, it's like every time I open my social media app, I notice a certain someone, on stage with a city councilman. And I'm like, I like it. It's just like very relatable in terms of how, we integrate social media in our daily jargon. So I like the aspect of it. But maybe I overthought this in my last video because somebody rightfully called out that, hey, you know what? Rather than all the women being 35, it's possible they're all within the same age range of 34 to 36. Because in episode 1, Karen was stated to be 36. Sabrina turns 35 in season 7, episode 6. And Andy was like, Danny, that's not old. We're all the same age. And all the same age could encompass a lot of things. I mean, yeah, maybe one of them is still 34 and they're about to turn 35 not long after Sabrina, and someone being 36 isn't that much older than someone being 35. So let's just say that the women are in the range of 34 to 36, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not overthinking it, because in my last video where I talked about the sneak peek, I said, well, I mean, that was a one line from season 1, episode 1, which could have been a blink and you miss it. And I mean, things from the pilot episode, let alone season 1 of any show, might get retconned as change. And change as time goes on. So it's no big deal. But, you know, I really did like the moment where Andy wanted a new tradition where they all said something that they love about the birthday girl. And that was pretty sweet, because it's not often that we get moments like this where the girls, you know, just talk about each other in a loving way. It was great. Yeah, Sabrina is a natural beauty. She's so kind and sweet. And yeah, I love how Andy mentioned the whole Maurice thing, because, you know, if it wasn't for her, he would be just under the jail at this point. So, well, no, I mean, unless D.A. Burke stepped up. So, yeah. But in any case, we have the Karen moment where she kind of snaps at Danny for saying, well, a DNA test isn't that bad, isn't it? And then, wait. So you're on their side? And classic Karen. And this really just shows that, yeah, these writers, they did their homework when it comes to the dynamic of the girls, because heck, in the next episode, the girls are going to meet up yet again. So I really do feel like this is season 1 where the girls, like, they would meet up almost every other episode in time of a crisis. So when it comes to Sabrina, she gets all emotional because she wants to freeze her eggs. And, you know, Danny's like, are you sure about kids? And I'm not saying Sabrina would not be a great mom, but when you look at how naive and passive she has been throughout the course of the series, man, I don't want to sound like I'm underestimating women, especially a black woman, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a woman, obviously, but I am aware that, you know, when women hit a certain age, there is the worries of having or not having kids because of their biological clock. So does Sabrina actually want kids, or does she feel like she needs to have them immediately because she's reached a certain age? I feel like that's an important thing to really explore. I mean, yeah, her being a mom is interesting, but what kind of spurred this on? Because this is the first time, obviously it's the new writers, but we've never heard her desire to have kids before. I don't know if Calvin ever brought it up to her. And yes, Calvin did apparently have a kid, but that was only mentioned once and never really brought up ever again. But yeah, it just seems weird. I do know that she talks to Andy about needing to get that promotion at work, especially if she wants to afford a kid in the first place. But it's really interesting because you got Karen, who never misses a beat to just throw some shade at Zach, even when he's not even in the room. She talked about how, you know, Zach used to push his fears of his mommy issues on Karen. And I mean, that line wouldn't hold a lot of weight had we not seen what Zach went through in the Zatima series with his mom. So you can understand why he would kind of project those fears onto Karen. Because, I mean, when you think about it, is Karen the kind of mom you would want based off the character we've seen from her during her relationship with Zach? You'd be like, nah, I mean, Zach, you'd probably be better off without a mom than a mom like Karen if she portrays herself in the same manner as a mother that she did as a girlfriend. But yeah, we had the girls just get up and go back to their day. You know, Danny's tipsy and oh man, we got Sabrina going over to Maurice's, and then Karen goes by the salon. But before they leave, they just have a moment between Andy and Sabrina where she gives her Sabrina a check. It's like, no, I can't take any more of your money. And it's like, no, it's like, think of it as an investment in my little niece or nephew when you eventually have your baby. And they talk to Karen about, you know, your single mom, but we got you. We're all here. And that's all well and good. And I'm pretty sure they'll be supportive for their friend, but it's just that, that doesn't make up for the middle of the nights when the baby's crying and needs a diaper change and whatnot. It's just one of those things where I do feel like it was capturing the struggles of being a single mother. And oh yeah, also before leaving, after getting the check from Andy, Sabrina's like, look, if there's anything I can do for you, when it comes to Jordan's campaign, if you need somebody like handing out flyers or knocking on doors, and let me know, I got you. I really did like that. It just shows that the girls are really down for each other when they need them. And it's like they not all of them like to take handouts. It's like, look, you've been there for me. Let me do something for you. I don't care what it is. Like, you need me to like cook you dinner, or I don't know, take it to the airport. I got you. I got you. So from there, we go over to the gym, where this is the part I got confused at because I thought the birthday thing was at night. And then I'm like, wait, it's daytime, so it's the morning. But then we go back to the penthouse. Again, my bad, connection issues. I didn't hear the dialogue that said brunch. So, they're at the gym. Hayden's working out. You got Gary coming in, his nosebleed from, that, booger sugar he was indulging in the night before. And basically they have a conversation about partner, and Gary's like, look, real talk, you're a better attorney than Andy, and I think we could work something out. So Hayden invites Gary and Penelope over for dinner, and Gary tries to clown on Hayden. Okay, man, let me get this workout in. Come on, let me put some more weights on here, man. Come on now. So from there, we go over to the salon, and this is before Karen shows up. Pam's doing a live stream on one of her customers, and apparently they have like over 3,000 people on live. Kind of jealous because I've never had that many people on a live at one time. But her product is apparently very good. Now, some people say that this, customer is like somebody she probably paid off or something. But I mean, I guess the results don't lie, because she's on the live stream with her hair and the product. So it must be working, because when Karen shows up to the salon, there is a crazy crowd. And I told y'all, I did that short. I'm like, why are all these people, lined up around the corner outside of Karen's shop? Because the product is flying off the shelf. What did she say? In 1 hour, Pam got over 300 orders. Trey comes in to get her to sign off on a few things. And, he's being flirty with Karen. But when he brings up the baby daddy stuff, that's when Karen's like, okay, goodbye, Trey. Don't you have things to deliver? He's like, oh, okay. But the thing is this. I was confused because wasn't it a few episodes ago when, the grand opening was about to take place and the power got shut off because the accounts were empty and she couldn't do the auto pay. So she cut off Pam from using the company credit card and business line and whatnot because she was getting that gunk for the hair care products. So then she said, hey, well, I took out a loan at the bank or a credit line at the bank. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Pam has her own money now and she can like fund her own her own product. But now she is using the credit card to get all this stuff because obviously she's going to need a lot of inventory and product because she has all these orders to fulfill. Why is she doing this? Like, don't get me wrong. It's clear she's bringing in a lot of money, but that doesn't make sense to me. And remember, I sell online myself, so I know how this works. But it's weird continuity. Like, how does she regain access to the company credit card? I don't know. And I feel like, look, yes, they're bringing in a lot of business. Customers are coming in. This is great. But you all just had the power cut off. I don't think it's a good idea to run up a huge debt. Now, Karen at first, I'm like, oh, she's just hating. It's like, do you have a license for this stuff? But then when you really think about it, it's like, yeah, I mean, is this stuff, are you certain it doesn't have any like allergic side effects? And, what is it like? It's not Food Drug Administration because this is hair care product. But I mean, the proper legal stuff to, make sure this stuff is like, up to code, if you will. So yeah, this reminds me of that girl that was selling that pink sauce stuff or whatever. I never bought it because I don't even know. Like, I like my sauces to be quote unquote natural colors. I want my barbecue sauce to be red or dark brown. I don't eat ketchup. I kind of grew out of it. It's barbecue sauce for me. I want my mustard to be yellow. Nothing else. Simple as my mayonnaise be white. Simple as that. But yeah, it's one of those things where Pam's product could either be a huge benefit to the salon or a huge detriment. I don't know. I think it's just stupid for her to use the credit cards, because now even more people are like, yo, did she take that credit card in season 2? No, she didn't. But the way they're writing the show now, she probably did. Okay. So we go over to Sabrina going over to Maurice's place just to have a, brief conversation on her birthday. And, Maurice was actually servicing one of his customers. But look, I don't care about the scene itself outside of the fact that Maurice, the way he's saying Sabrina happy birthday, it was one of those moments where I'm like, you know what? Even though there have been rough patches in their friendship, especially after the whole Q stuff, this was just one of those moments where he genuinely showed he cared for his girl. So I really did enjoy the scene. Danny comes into Tony's office for, a little fun time. And Tony's like, well, hey, you better be quiet. Don't be running around here so people can see you, because you told the bosses and whatnot it was some sort of holiday so you can have the day off. But in the midst of them getting freaky deaky, the kids run in. What? And the kids say the darndest things. I just love the fact that his daughter was like, where are your clothes? And then his son Junior was like, wait, are those real? Because, her assets were showing. You're very pretty. Thank you, little girl. And then Tony sends the kids to go speak to, one of the employees they're familiar with to get some snacks. And, apparently, no, Tony never lied about not having kids. It's just that he told Danny that the kids lived with their mom. However, now, she asked him to step up and he's keeping the kids for the summer. And I don't think he lied. I'm not going to, well, no, he obviously didn't lie. It's just that he was going to tell Danny about the kids being there for the summer over lunch. But it's like, Danny, you called out of work and I was going to, take you to lunch, explain everything to you. So this is one of those things where Tony isn't necessarily the bad guy here. It's just that, like so many characters in the show, male or female, sometimes they don't want to just drop a bomb. They want to ease a person into it. Case in point, like Fatima in Law School, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But in the next episode, we'll follow up on the storyline here. Now, over with Zach and Fatima at the law firm, Zach is ecstatic because he gets custody of Michael. And I ain't gonna lie, this was great just to see Zach have a moment of true happiness. It's been quite a while. Now, in the midst of the situation, because Andy says, it's going to be a few days before you can actually get Michael. But look, don't worry. Everything is good to go. We're going to finalize the details and get everything hammered out. But for now, just know you got the custody over Heather. And I'll let you know when you can pick Michael up and you'll be good to go. Fatima gets a text message and she looks concerned. But she's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm thinking to myself, Lord, what is going on now? Is it like a test saying that she's not pregnant or something? I don't know. But no, it's actually about her getting accepted into law school. And Andy comes into her office about it saying, I knew something was wrong because you didn't tell him yet, because I knew your face said it all. But Andy encourages her that it's going to work out. And I love the way this was played out, because it really does show that, Fatima, I know some fans have been like, Zach, he needs to say, like, Fatima, are you okay with, because I know a lot of things are going on now, but, how are you? And I know that was, for me, one of my things that I felt was a bit repetitive last season. Most of Zach's dialogue consisted of, I just want to make sure you're comfortable. I don't know how you're okay with all this, but, in this season, it's like, okay, for real, Fatima, though, are you okay? There's a lot going on and the hearings coming up, but now it's like Fatima, who has been there for Zach for all this time, now he needs to step up and be there for her because she got accepted into law school. And it's interesting because, well, Zach being Zach goes a bit overboard by kind of already pushing Fatima into a mommy role and making her just a housewife at this point. So Andy says that she's going to see Jordan, but actually can't make it to the dinner because something came up. I guess another case or something. Honestly, I don't know what happened with that. I'm guessing that Hayden throwing shade at Gary. I'm sorry, at Jordan, because, okay, so Andy's off to see Jordan. Hayden comes up to Andy to throw shade about, if I was still representing Heather, he would have never got custody, right? And then he makes a slight towards her about, well, actually, I got work to get done. You go stand beside some man on the stage. So I think that's why Andy canceled on Jordan, because Hayden got under her skin. So that's what happened. Now, from there, we go over to Zach just turning the entire house into a toy den. Folks, I was wrong. The tent that was behind Angela, Michael isn't going to sleep in there. Apparently, there's a room upstairs for Michael. Somebody said that in episode 1, it was mentioned. My bad, I forgot. So, yeah, I've been proven wrong many times this season. And I'm okay with that, because after doing this for years and over 100 episodes, being right damn near all the time got boring and predictable. So to actually have things I either screw up on or I just got wrong completely, it's refreshing. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. Okay, so Zach has turned the entire living room into a play area, and Fatima was like, "What have you done to the living room? What about my office? Put it back together." Because I ain't gonna lie, that giant stuffed penguin was adorable. I ain't gonna lie. And then you got Zach playing with an Etch-a-Sketch. He got like a little kit table for coloring and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy, but Fatima wanted to tell him about the law school acceptance, but Zach was too caught up in daddy, baby fever, which makes sense because his life has just changed and he wants to be the best dad possible. And Fatima was just like, "Baby, you're just doing too much right now," because she couldn't get out about the law school thing, because he's already talking about like, well, yeah, somebody needs to be here and make organic meals for us and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, Zach, come on, man. It's like your woman has career goals. Like, what's going on? So I will say this, as fun. This was probably my favorite Zach episode of the season so far, because I've had a very, very just not. I haven't looked at Zach in a favorable light for a majority of season 7. But this episode, I'm like, bro, I love it. But I didn't like how he was just pushing Fatima, basically, like she told Andy, barefoot in the kitchen. So, but I don't know. But the moment I was about to roll my eyes at Zach, he did something that had me just laughing my ass off. When this fool pulls out a straw, sticks it in the juice box, then he gets a phone call from Bryce to come look at a property in the middle of the night. He's just sipping on the juice. He's having like a serious conversation. A grown ass man. Imagine like, you're at work or something. You're having a serious conversation with your boss. He's telling you about, how, yeah, we're going to need everybody to work overtime and whatnot. It's like, can you chip in by working 12 extra hours this week? And you look at him like, are you out of your mind? And then he pulls out a juice box and just starts sipping on it. Like, how would you react to that? It was crazy, but it was hilarious too. So we go over to dinner at Hayden's place, and of course, Tamara is very, just on guard as soon as Gary walks through the door. And as the ladies step to the side to just have a chat, and Tamara was going to get Penelope some water, you have Gary telling Hayden the best way to become partners to like get you a big fish. So what we need to do is like get a huge case for you to win, and that should put you into the partner position, no problem. Now from there, we have everybody sitting at the dinner table. You got Tamara asking Penelope about excited about having the baby, and in the midst of the conversation, Gary gets a call from Hudson. And he's telling him that, look, the cop that we need for this story against Jordan, he's going to be pretty expensive. Gary's like, look, we got to do what we need to do because we already paid off this girl, which we know the story is going to be next week about Jordan messing around with underage, girls. So from there, Penelope needs to go to the restroom. Like at first I thought she was just like faking something wrong with the baby, so maybe she could like make a phone call for herself or something. I don't know, because we know Penelope and Andy got this thing working behind the scenes to hopefully expose Gary. So while Hayden goes to show Penelope where the restroom is, Gary and Tamara kind of have a standoff, And it's like, look, I know you're a gold digger. I know you're type. You're trying to play my boy. No, no, I know some things about you. The fact that you aren't over Andy and whatnot, and Hayden will be a fool to let you help him. But then they just start kissing. Like Gary goes in first, but then Tamara, she was kissing him back. I'm like, damn. So we go over to Zach and Fatima's house again. Angela came over because Fatima called and said she needs a friend. And Angela just, oh, this was amazing. I had no issue with what Angela said. She was basically there for her girl to say, look, it's possible to have it all. I know that you have these career goals and whatnot. I'm proud of you for getting into law school. But think of it this way. I mean, you got Michael and, well, you don't know whether or not Karen's baby is Zach's, but regardless, at least you'll have a kid or kids already without having to mess up your figure or go through childbirth or anything. But also look at it this way. Well, I mean, she gave nothing but good points. I really have nothing else to add to this. I love how as soon as Angela came in, she was looking around, and Fatima was like, who said we had to color in the lines? And apparently Angela and Fatima knew each other even before college because she's like Miss Jody or something. Basically, you could tell it was like a preschool teacher or something. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of wanted to get a coloring book after this scene because it was just like, I don't know, I just liked it. This reminded me at the call center. I know there was this one girl, like, she would have coloring books and stuff like that at her cubicle because the days could be long and sometimes you needed something to take the edge off, man. But it really was cool to see, a friendly moment between these two. It wasn't like them crapping on Zach or anything. It's just that Fatima getting out her grievances, and hopefully she does have a conversation with Zach about law school. I do hope, but given that next week we got the DNA stuff just happening too, I mean, there's not going to be any time, but hopefully we do have a moment where Zach and Fatima can tell Zach, baby, can we slow down? Because I really need to talk to you about something. Now, we do know in the future they get a nanny, so it is possible that they work things out. But yeah, I do hope that at some point they do actually have a conversation about, her aspirations and Michael and whatnot. So Karen goes to the hospital saying that, she needs to see a doctor immediately. It's no emergency, but she just needs to talk to one. Then the doctor comes in and she talks about amniocentesis. I did a video on this a long time ago, 2 years, I think. And she talks about how, the confusion of one doctor telling her one timeline, another date of conception, Aaron having the timeline, Zach. And I'm like, no, Karen, I thought you was show it was Zach's baby. Now you're not so certain about it. But no, she is scheduling the actual DNA test for tomorrow. But the last scene, the scene that really made the episode for me is like Danny seeing that photo from Preston's wedding and then writing in her journal about being like, you need to get back to being you. And it's like her therapist recommended to journal. I mean, earlier in the episode, she talked about how her therapist was telling her different things to help her, like, de-stress and, kind of declutter her mind, open up the boxes she tried to keep sealed and like deal with the trauma as opposed to boxing it up and throwing it out, in the garbage or something. But this is good. I journal myself. I've been doing it since I was in college. So I've been doing that since like 2011, 2012. It's really, really refreshing to get things out on paper. But yeah, this was just a great scene. The montage of all the girls doing their thing. And it's like when Andy called Fatima when she was with Angela, like, look, Andy called me because she needs me back at work. What am I supposed to do when we got the kid? Like, we got to decide who's going to leave, who's going to stay. And yeah, that's a big step. It really is. But then again, it just goes to show that these two did move a bit too fast. So, yikes. But overall, solid episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.